Hey everybody, I am so stoked to see you here. It is crazy. I just clicked go live in Ecamm Live and it returned an error and it said can't go live. And I was just like, oh my God, my heart just like exploded in my chest. Um, so welcome everybody. I'm super stoked. I have to turn off my other YouTube feed because I just want to make sure it's all coming through. I do want to try to figure out how to make JT a moderator. Hold on a second. Can I do this? Add moderator. I think I just did it. All right, JT. That's Joselle in shorthand. All right, I'm going to close this window. And welcome, everybody. I have a little extra tech than usual going on today, and I have some slides I'm going to show, which are just kind of pretty pictures and headlines. But I just wanted to do it and orchestrating getting that set up, and my second camera, my 35 millimeter, which I usually have as my second view, and my split screen, which I think is so cool and so fun, decided to crap out on me, so it's not connecting to Ecamm. So we have a single shot today, which is kind of a bummer because I love doing that. But anyway, Ben, great to see you. Sam, Natalie, Peijian, Eve, Giselle, of course, Deborah, JB Digital, Carmen, Scott, awesome. Great to see you guys here. I'm so glad you decided to join. And Roger, Brianna, cool, Brianna, it's good to see you here. Masha, I know your name now. Am I saying that right, Masha? Pollux. I know actually Pollux's name now, which is cool. I'm connecting with all these folks on the Brand Design Masters Facebook group. I'm going to throw that up here really quickly just so you guys can see it. I've just launched a new Facebook group called Brand Design Masters. A lot of the people who are here are members. Jan, Andrea, Joel, Todd, Tracy, all you guys are. And I'm really, really stoked to have you all here. Close enough. Okay, you're going to have to, Masha, Masha, I'm gonna get it right. Send me a video and tell me how to pronounce your name. I actually looked your name up on Google pronunciation and watched a video of how to pronounce your first name. And I thought I got it right, but hey, I'm making the effort, right? Brand Design Masters podcast, Facebook group. I'm frazzled because my camera is not working and stuff's going wrong. Please join if you haven't. Karen, great to see you. I know a lot of you here have joined and are here because I announced it there and also in my email list. So anyone who's here who hasn't joined, Brand Design Masters Facebook group is a really amazing group of entrepreneurs and creative professionals who are all banding together to network and to share resources and share knowledge and support each other and teach each other, share best practices, share connections, and it's going to be a really amazing and vibrant group. And I'm really excited because literally in the last week we were up to 200 members. So when I went live last Friday, we had 12, I think, friends and family, and now we're up to 200. So I'm totally stoked about that, and it's already proving to be a super vibrant and energetic crowd. So thank you all for joining me there. Elaine, welcome. Peter, good to see you. Get wet soon. Okay. There you go. That's a screen name for you. Tracy, good to see you all you guys. So let me take this off the screen and put this on the screen. So I'll take some questions at the very end of the live as usual. And so if you have a question, please type the word question in all caps. And Joselle Tack, who is my marketing assistant and also the moderator of this group, I'm sure she will weigh in and say hi. Joselle's in the Philippines, and her area of the Philippines has been experiencing some really crazy bad internet problems over the last week. So hopefully her connection is good and strong today, and that'll be great. And so Joselle is going to collect questions and feed me questions and pump them into Facebook Messenger for me so I can see them at the end, and they'll all be collected and I won't have to scroll through everything. So good to see you guys. And if you haven't subscribed to my email list, please go to philipvandusen.com/muse and get on my email list. I put out a newsletter every couple of weeks with resources and books and recommended articles and a blog kind of story article from me. And it seems to be pretty popular. People like it. But the key thing is that is where you will be able to hear from me directly. And everything that I do, from launching masterminds to products to going live, will be announced through that email list. And make sure that you add me to your address book so it doesn't go to spam. I use MailChimp, and MailChimp for some reason has been experiencing problems in going to spam recently, which really bums me out, considering changing providers. There's JT. She weighed in. What we're going to do today, what's the format today? Let me take this other stuff off the screen. Again, like I said, I have a lot of more tech going on than usual these days, or at least today. And including like remote controls and all sorts of stuff. And I'm kind of bummed, like I said, the second camera doesn't work. But be that as it may, what I'm going to be talking about today is email lists and the power of email list building, both for you and for your clients. And so, Crazy Arts, welcome. Sakatini, good to see you guys here. So the power of email lists is, indisputable, right? I mean, the most important thing about email lists is that it's land that you own. I always talk about not building your brand on borrowed land, or if you're going to build your brand on borrowed land, that you make sure that you buy a lot of properties, basically. I've built the majority of my content land on YouTube. I'm now moving over to a podcast, as you know, the Brand Design Masters podcast, which I'm going to put up there. Looks like that. The thumbnail looks like that. And please join and listen. I'm about to drop season number 2 in the next week or so, hopefully. It may be a little late depending on what's going on. So podcast, YouTube channel, newsletter, email list. And the reason why I do that, and the reason why everybody who gets into content development should do that, is that platforms change, right? They change their rules, they change their bylaws, they get less popular. People build entire businesses off single platforms, and then that platform may get less popular, go belly up. Let's say Periscope, for instance, or hey Jarvis, good to see you, man. Natalie, Disruptors Club, welcome you guys, really appreciate it. Jay, good to see you. Oh yeah, I know, missed the goatee, right? I know, I made a change, and I told you guys this last week, but the COVID-19 lockdown has us all getting a big whammy, right? And so my wife has already redecorated the living room like twice. And so I had to mix things up. Going with the patterned shirts, taking off the goatee. Things are changing a little bit. You might have noticed that some of my thumbnails and my videos are changing and my lives. So I'm just trying to liven things up a little bit, keep things interesting. Sarah, good to see you. Rick, great to see you here. Excuse me. All right, so let me bounce back into what I was talking about, email lists. So you own it. It's not on borrowed land. If you are building a content empire on borrowed land, which we all have to do because that's what social platforms are, the idea is to build, go all in on one and then expand over time, because you never know when that platform might get purchased by Omnicom or something like that, and they'll change all the rules. So definitely do that. And then also, it's a platform, an email list is a platform that you can control, right? So you can share value with others, you can share content, you can share resources, you can educate people, and it's all about giving value. You can also promote yourself, right, on that platform because you own it, but you always want to make sure that you're balancing it really well with the value that you're providing, and it's not just all about you and all about promotion. You can use it to promote other people. That's another amazing thing about email lists, is that you can broaden your network by featuring other people in your network, in whatever it is that you publish on your email list. It's a great way to share the love, and they might respond in kind and expose you to their audience. It's what I call the content mafia. Once you start getting into developing content, you kind of join this network of content developers who support and promote and leverage each other's audiences to grow their following and to spread their brand awareness. Sorry, my nose is itching. Maybe it's allergies. I don't know. It's springtime. And here's the other thing about email lists, is that even if you are not wanting to become like the email list king, right, or queen, you have to know it. You have to know about it, because one of the things that I'm doing, and in everything that I do essentially, is try to educate entrepreneurs and creative pros to know more about marketing and the tools that you need to build brands, to utilize for your own brand, but also to utilize for your clients. So learning things that you can apply to other people's businesses is super valuable. And even if you're not going to apply it wholeheartedly to your own business, learning about it so you can advocate for it and advise around it to your clients will increase the number of services that you can offer to your clients, and it also increases their perception of you as an expert. So learning, a lifelong learner, learning things that may be outside of what your normal offering is. Number one, expand your own audience, your own marketing tools, all of that sort of stuff, so you can grow your own business and your own brand awareness, but also learning it so you can advise and bring that skill set to clients. Learning things that maybe you don't even use, things like, detailed email funnels or sales funnels or automation or whatever that is. Learning those things can be really helpful, because you're adding that to your toolkit, your war chest of what you can bring to clients and get paid for, right? So that's one of the reasons why I'm talking about email list building today. And also because of the fact that it has totally built my business. And I want to share what works for me. Welcome Code Design, Viraya, Stefan. Great to see all you guys. Sorry, itchy nose. Yes, persistent. Stefan says itchy nose, persistent cough. Just saying. Yeah, no. Well, I hope not. That would suck. But yeah, I have this little itch. I don't know what it is, and it's not going away. Marvy Marv. Good to see Marvy Marv. He's a member of the Brand Design Masters Facebook group. And Marvy Marv, you might not know it, actually used to work for me about 10 zillion years ago when I was in the fashion industry, and he's a super talented graphic designer, and now he's got its own business. He started a high-end, kind of a maker's watch company, and so he has built a product brand from scratch that is really impressive. So connect with Marvin in the Brand Design Masters Facebook group. He's got his own group around watches, which is really impressive. So definitely check that out. I know. Denise says allergies. I know. I think it is allergies. I had allergies terribly when I was young, and they've gotten better and better, less and less as I've gotten older. But certain days really still nail me. And of course, it would happen on a day where I have to go live. Okay. Percy, welcome. Yeah, Marv says once upon a time. Yeah, it was once upon a time. Those were those salad days, bro. Okay, so let's talk about email. Email is the most powerful marketing tool because of what I just said, that you own it. You control it. You can do whatever you want with it. And the other reason that it's the most powerful tool is because people have given you permission to communicate to them. They have given you permission to market to them, and they have trusted you with their email address. And you know about building brands, right? When you build a brand, You want people to know, like, and trust you. And so people get to know you better from what you share in your emails or your newsletter or whatever your email communication is. They get to like you because you're providing them with value. And then over time, you build trust in them that what you're providing them is valuable and will help them. And that may be your own content that you're serving up to them. It could be curated content or resources or other people that you know and recommend to them. But it's building that like, know, trust mechanism, right? Those gears that turn, that builds brands, build personal brands, build agencies, build businesses. Email, services, all of those things. And the other thing about it is that when people give you their email address, it is a reciprocal agreement. So they are offering up their email address to you with a level of trust that you are going to give them something of value in return and that you're not going to abuse that power. So they're giving you, their email address for something in exchange. And so if you get the email address, you have to show up and you have to deliver that thing of value. And if you do that and you develop that relationship, it is an incredibly powerful thing for your business. And so what do you need to get started? What do you need to get started in developing an email list? Some of you may have email lists. Some of you may have very robust, hey, Jennifer, David, Victor, good to see you guys. Some of you may have email lists going already. Some of you may not at all and have always wanted to. One of the things that I just wanted to mention is that, in the Brand Design Masters Facebook group, in my YouTube audience, my YouTube live audience demographically tends to skew younger, like 24 to 35. My email list tends to skew older. It's like 45 or 40, 35 plus on my email list. The segmentation of those two groups is pretty markedly different. So going live on YouTube, I sometimes have a younger audience and people who don't know as much about these things as maybe some of you folks who are in the Brand Design Masters Facebook group. But what I'm trying to say is that I share knowledge and resources and information with a broad range of people from fairly early beginners to very seasoned professionals. So if you know this, I apologize if I'm repeating myself and telling you something you know, but I guarantee you there's something in today's broadcast that will be of value to you. And so what do you need to get started? It's actually really simple. All you really need is a website or a landing page and an email provider. So web page or landing page could be Lead Pages, it could be Wix, it could be Weebly, it could be Squarespace, it could be WordPress, it could be Kajabi. Sorry, dry cough. There you go, Stefan, right? We're doing it again. Email list provider, MailChimp, ConvertKit, ActiveCampaign, Constant Contact. Also, some web site providers, WYSIWYG providers are also providing email services now. So Squarespace has its own email services. Kajabi has its own email services. And then if you don't want to, I'm really sorry. Sorry about that. And if you don't want to pay monthly for an email service, you can also connect an email sign-up form to a Google spreadsheet. So it will feed into the Google spreadsheet. I know this is the case with Squarespace anyway, is that you can link it to a Google spreadsheet. So when people sign up, it just adds it to the spreadsheet. And then you could use that spreadsheet to email people individually, a dozen at a time. You can't, email people right out of your normal email account and, paste in 1,000 CCs because it will flag it as spam. You can't do that. You have to use an email provider. So in general, if you're going to send out lots of emails, you want to get a provider. And hey, Cindy. Hey, Dave. Hey, David. How are you? Good morning from Idaho. Good morning from New York, New Jersey. It is a gray, rainy day here. So the big question is, how do you get people to sign up? I actually just realized I'm going to try something here. And then I'm going to do this. Then I'm going to do that. How do you get people to sign up? I knew I had slides, and I just forgot to put them up there. So how do you get people to sign up, and how do you get them to do it fast? Anyone can grow an email list, putting a sign-up form on their website. The problem is you've got to get a lot of traffic to your website in order to get a bunch of people to sign up. So how do you accelerate that process? How do you get people to sign up faster? The secret, and it's a secret to some, but it's the one I've used, which is lead magnets. Content. Free content. You have to offer content as a lure to get people to sign up. You have to give them a gift. Right out of the gate, you have to give them something of value to get them to sign up to your list. So how do lead magnets work? What does that process look like? First of all, later in the live, I'm going to share 5 of my favorite types of lead magnets. So if you do have an email list and you are building that capability or using that capability, I'm going to share some great ideas for you about how you can expand your range of lead magnets, or opt-in magnets as they're also called, to get people to sign up. So what's the process? I'm really sorry about the nose thing. What's the process or the funnel? How do you get people to sign up? The first thing, you have to develop some content. As I said, I'm going to go into what those types of content are. But you have a call to action on some sort of social platform. So that could be Instagram, it could be YouTube, it can be on a podcast, it can be on Twitter, it can be on Instagram. You announce that you have some sort of checklist or ebook or something digital that you're going to give away, and you invite people to a landing page or to a page on your website where they sign up in an email form, which then will trigger either a thank you page that thanks them from signing up and gives them a link to download that asset. If they're added to an email list like on MailChimp or ConvertKit or something like that, you can also set it up so that triggers a thank you sequence. It might trigger a welcome sequence of 5 or 6 emails over a number of weeks. You can set up, I'm not going to go heavily into kind of email sequencing and automation and stuff like that in this. I'm really going to kind of focus on the power of building the list and how to build it. But you can trigger a sequence of after getting added to the list. So a thank you page comes up, you get a download link, they get to download the asset. The way I have it set up usually, I have it set up a couple ways. One is you can download it right there after you sign up. Another is that you get a welcome email, and the link to download it is in the first welcome email. So they have to a certain extent, accept, and green light your first email that comes in, and then they get that asset. And so that's the process of how it works. Questions coming in, right? Okay. Jennifer asks, where do you place your lead magnets? I understand how you might use them if you already have a list, but where do you place those magnets in the first place? That's what I'm going to talk about right now. Also, Jennifer and everybody in the chat, if you have a question, please type the word question in all caps before your question. That way, Joselle, my moderator and marketing assistant, can capture the question, feed it to me on Facebook Messenger, and I can go through them at the very end. Okay, here we go. So the question was, how do you place your lead magnets in the first place? You want to create evergreen content that will last that won't go stale, essentially, because many times you want to leave these lead magnets up for months, years. And if they are evergreen and they aren't time bound, then you can just leave them up running automated forever. It's really great. I went through the process path. I know I'm totally behind on my slides. And then the call to action on social, landing page, pop-up, thank you page, welcome email, and deliver the value. Here's another thing I wanted to say, and that is that pop-ups work. Everyone hates pop-ups. I hate pop-ups. The first time someone told me this message, that pop-ups work, I was like, no freaking way, I'm not doing that. I hate pop-ups. And they're like, you have to do it because they work. And I was like, all right. So I put one on my website, offered the lead magnet on the pop-up. I still, to this day, 4 years after I started doing that, probably 80% of my email signups come through my pop-up, not through the multiple places you can sign up on my website, like in the footer and in the middle of some of those pages. They happen on the pop-up. So they work. If you don't use them, you know, the stigma of pop-ups is kind of over. I feel like if you serve up a pop-up and you give them value that they can get right immediately from the pop-up, rather than just like sign up and you don't get anything, that's obnoxious. But if you're giving something of value right then and there, then I think that is workable, and it works. Sorry, my voice is already starting to kind of whack out. All right. So, how do you do it? What do you do with your stuff in the first place? Hold on a second. Sorry. How do you drive people to your lead magnets in the first place? What you do is you post a teaser on social media. You post it on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, on a podcast. You may notice that in the cards on my YouTube videos, the little things that turn up in the corner that you can click on, a lot of times those are lead magnets. Or I offer, a list of resources. You can just tweet it out. Just say, hey, you want a list of 200 resources or this checkbook or this ebook for free, and then you leave the link and they go to your website or the landing page where they can sign up and get that. Another way that you can do it is you can create a link and put it, a lot of people don't do this, which is surprising to me, but you can put it in the email signature on every email that you send out. You can say, hey, if you haven't gotten my latest ebook, here's a link to it. That way, every single email you send out and every single person who gets forwarded every single email that you send out will get a link to your lead magnet. You want to make sure that you link to it on all your social profiles. So, using Bitly or TinyURL, you want to put a link to your lead magnets in this, a tiny portion of your, sometimes limited word count Twitter profile or Instagram profile or your LinkedIn profile, Facebook profile. You want to link to lead magnets there too. You really want to kind of seed every place that you show up with links to these lead magnets, because wherever you are putting up a sign saying free stuff, all you have to do is sign up. Lots of people want the free stuff. So basically everywhere you show up. For instance, just to tell you a quick story, like the first 20 or 30 videos I put out on YouTube, I didn't have any call to action on. And one of my entrepreneurial friends contacted me and they're like, Phil, what are you doing? You don't have any calls to action on your videos. At the end of every video, ask people to visit your website or ask them to, if they want this 9 design elements that every brand absolutely positively needs, one of my most popular lead magnets, just mention it and give people a URL, put it on the screen. And from then on, for the next, 215 videos, I've done that. And it has driven lots of traffic to those lead magnets and subsequently really built my email list. I also put it in the tail end of most of my videos. So, and here's the other thing. Here's the other thing you have to do is you have to tell people. You have to tell people that you are offering these things and what you have available for them. And telling your friends, family, network, professional colleagues, clients that these things are available. And if they would do you a solid, could they tell their network? Ask and you shall receive. If you don't ask, you won't get. So you always have to make sure that you ask for help, because you have to look at it this way. You are not shilling. You are not promoting. This is not push advertising. What this is pull advertising. There's a difference. There's a difference between advertising and attraction. Advertising is promotion. Lead magnets are attraction. And content marketing is attraction. You are drawing people to you, giving them something of value in return for their attention. Advertising is pushing messages out there. It's billboards. It's blah, 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 blah. We are this, we are that. We're selling this for this much. Content is something completely different. And lead magnets, utilizing lead magnets to build your email list is content marketing. So you can't be shy about it. You can't feel like you're imposing on people, because you're not. You're giving them a gift. You have to, it's a mindset. You have to get your head around the fact that you are giving them a gift. Ask people to help you. I'm trying to keep up with the slides. Now, let's talk about what the five best lead magnets are. Number one, a mini ebook. Now, the thing to know about ebooks is people think ebook, I can't write a book. I can't write a 50, 100 page, 200 page book. That's like, it's going to take a year out of my life, and I'll have to write 30,000 words. And what do I even know that I could talk about for that long? Here's the deal. Ebooks do not have to be long. Ebooks can be 4 pages long. Ebooks, lots of ebooks from very popular people are like 15 pages long. And all you're really doing is offering valuable info to your audience, and you're making their life easier. One thing you could do is, if you blog, you write articles, just collect 5 blogs that are on the same subject and put them together. People will give you their attention and be grateful if you curate content around a certain subject together, so they don't have to go out and find it everywhere. Just combining it together is of service to people. So if you're writing articles, writing blog posts, pull them all together. One of the things I'm planning on doing sometime soon is I'm going to put together an ebook of all of my brand muses. If any of you get my newsletter, I start off with like a 200 word or 250 word little story. It's a little allegory, a little metaphorical story about marketing. And it's more about the story for me than it is actually about marketing in some ways. I love telling stories, and I love these special stories that I shift that metaphor to something that's of value. And I've collected now close to 100. I'm like coming up on issue 100. And I'm going to combine all of these 100 brand muses into an ebook, because it's going to be a great little iPad bathroom read. I don't know, but but they're fun. And on the live last week, if you were here, I talked about my sexy potato story. And if you weren't here, I'm not even going to tell you what the sexy potato story is, because you're going to have to come join the Brand Design Masters Facebook group to find out what the sexy potato story is all about. Anyway, but that's another idea. I'm reaching out to my friends and colleagues to say, hey, let's do a book together, right? Bring in some stories. Let's put a book together. Anyway, so ebooks, mini ebooks, they're awesome. They don't have to be long. They can be curated content of your own content, probably. What you want to make sure with ebooks is that you have a very cool cover, and you title it. Titles are important, but you're adding value because you're offering free expertise and free info. And some of the benefits of ebooks are that they're super inexpensive to produce, right? You're not printing anything. You're not physically sending anything anywhere. And as graphic designers or creative pros, you can work Illustrator or Photoshop. You can put a PDF together. That's all it takes. The investment is worth it, because if the content is evergreen, you will always have it, and you will be building a library of content that you can utilize, and that will constantly draw in people who are interested in getting it for free, and they will sign up to your email list to get it. You can repurpose content, blog posts, articles, like I said. You can repurpose podcasts and videos. here's another thing that I do that I don't know if any of you have noticed, but I will transcribe my videos, what I say in some of my videos, transcribe that text. I have a copywriter who takes that text and turns it into an article, because you can't just post a transcript. A verbal transcript doesn't read like an article. You have to cite sources and, quote people and make it readable, right? So I have someone who does that for me. And over time, I have been now, publishing dozens and dozens of articles on LinkedIn around branding and marketing. And my intent later is to combine those together into a book where I can serve it up to people for free and get all my content in one place rather than having to surf around. That's another thing you can do. If you have a podcast and you do solo episodes, transcribe some of those solo episodes, turn them into points of view, group them together, put them in a little mini ebook. Like I said, they don't have to be long. They don't have to be 100 pages. They could be 10 pages. They can be 3 pages. And there's no need, here's the other thing, there's no need to actually have to cover vast subjects, right? It doesn't have to be a master course. It doesn't have to be some sort of incredible review, the history of marketing, right? The history of design. It doesn't have to be that. You could say your ebook is about the 5 most popular fonts today, or the 5 most popular fonts in the finance industry, or whatever. It can be very niche, and people can be attracted to those niche things. Okay. Number 2. Got to change my slides here. See if I can do this. Yeah. Oops. That's screwed up. Hold on a second. Boom. They're inexpensive to produce. Oh, the other point I was going to make is that they don't have to be huge. I love that image. I have big dogs. Number 2 is the ultimate guide. So this is another type of lead magnet that you can create. The ultimate guide. The ultimate guide is a phrase that people love and is very magnetic for people to gravitate towards, because everyone wants an ultimate guide. Now, the cool thing about ultimate guides is you don't have to be the expert of the world in that subject. You can pull together, curate. Here's the thing. You're giving away the lead magnet for free. You're not selling it. So to a certain extent, it doesn't really fall under the copyright infringement laws. I know you definitely want to get permission from people to feature their content within your ebook. But I guarantee you 99.9% of the people who ask if you could feature their content in a free ebook will say yes, because when it comes down to it, they're getting more brand exposure and you're not making money from it. So everybody wins. So the ultimate guide can be curated content. You don't have to write it. The value add is that you're, again, providing this expertise and you are pulling together things on a subject that people want to learn and know about, but you're doing that work for them. And people will give you their email address to do that work for them. The ultimate guide to email funnels, the ultimate guide to choosing fonts, the ultimate guide to logo design, the ultimate guide to learning Photoshop online. It could be a list of places that, teach Photoshop online and what your thoughts about the pros and cons of each one are. Doesn't have to be like the history of Photoshop, right? Can be compartmentalized. All right, the third one is, of the 5, and wait, I'm going to take a quick commercial break here. Just for people who are in the group watching who may not be part of the Brand Design Masters Facebook group, I'm just going to talk about it for a moment. Oh, you know what? I'm not. Well, maybe I am. Yeah, I am. Get my head above it. I just started a Facebook group called the Brand Design Masters Facebook group. If you are watching and you have not joined, a lot of people who are in this feed have joined, and it's an amazing group full of creative professionals and entrepreneurs who are learning about branding and design and marketing. And it just launched and it's already incredibly vibrant. And I think that you will see people in this group. If you're in the group and you're in the feed, type a little comment. Just tell me if you're liking it, because I'd love to know that. And share it with the other people in the feed who might not be a member of the Facebook group yet. And and share that value if you feel it's valuable for you. So the next one is the ultimate resource guide. So the resource guide can be, again, curated content of resources. You don't have to create it. I'm really sorry. Joselle texted me and said, stop apologizing. All right. It's great because it's curated content and you don't have to create it. Again, what people are looking to you for is they are looking to you for your expertise in pulling together stuff for them. You are curating resources. I'll give you an example. In my Brand Muse newsletter, I have a section called Resources. And it's usually anywhere from 4 to 5 links to software as a service or design resources or, some sort of, could be free fonts, could be free templates, it could be, a cool app. And I share those resources every time I send out my newsletter. It is consistently the most clicked on and most magnetic part of my newsletter. People love resources because they love finding out and checking out new things that could help them. And if you can gather resources and put them all clickable in one place, people love that. And what I did was, over the 100 email newsletters I've sent out, I have like a list of like 300 to 400 resources, and I just pulled together the top 100 resources from the first 25 emails, 30 emails, and I put that out as a lead magnet. Top 100 resources guide for creative pros and entrepreneurs. And it's really, really popular. Like, people love it. So you can link to tools, apps, trainings, communities, all sorts of stuff. Just offer a resource guide around whatever it is that you're an expert in, or whatever it is that you really are passionate about or feel like you are great at finding for people. All right. Next is the checklist, the mighty checklist. Now, these sound kind of silly, right? People freaking love checklists. I don't know what it is about it. But the beautiful thing about checklists is that it doesn't really have to be deep thinking content, right? All it is a PDF that you set up like a form so people can tick the box, right? And you have a list of the 15 discovery call questions you have to ask a client in a new meeting, the 10 things you have to do in a brainstorm, 14 things you want to do before you publish your first blog post, the 9 brand design elements your brand absolutely positively needs, everything you have to do before you post a video, the perfect podcast checklist, 10 things to do before you to promote your Instagram post. And it's just a list of those things with a checkbox. Generally, these checklists are like a page long or 2 pages long. I would say they should be 3. There should be a title page with some cool graphics that make it look sexy, the checklist, and then the last page, and I'll talk about this at the end, is your promotional information or your contact information. It helps people adopt best practices, right? Because you're giving value saying these are the things you need to do, and it helps people learn what the best practices are. And you, I'm sure, know about 1 or 2 best practices about something that you do that you can share with people. And it is valuable. And there's something mysterious. There is something mysterious about checklists that people love. I don't know what it is, but they do. And it's very easy, it's very quick, and it's very quick learn. And people like that. People love snackable content. There's so much content in the world right now. I know you are overwhelmed with it. It's like a tsunami of content, right? So the key thing about that aspect of content marketing is if you make it, this is the key word, snackable. You have to make it snackable. And checklists are the ultimate snackable content because they're quick, you learn a lot, and they're fun because you get to see, am I doing all these things? Did I learn something new? And then you also have a checklist. So every time you post an Instagram post or every time you have a discovery call, you can check out your checklist and go, did I ask that? They're really helpful. So anyway, the checklist. Moving on. All right. And finally, number 5 is the workbook or the template. Again, this is another amazing kind of lead magnet, because what you're doing is, I'm sure you've downloaded things like this, where you are giving someone something that they can fill out, something that they can contribute to, something that they can get a product out of it by being instructed how to do it. For instance, I have a number of different templates that I offer up of basic branding tools, things like brand positioning statements, where literally it's like a statement with blanks in it that you have to fill in, and then there's some instruction of how you're supposed to use it. SWOT analysis template, which is essentially like a 4-grid strengths, weakness, opportunities, threats list with an example of what one fills out looks like. It's a template, a PDF, you can type into it, super easy. Customer avatar template, a brand pyramid template. I mean, there's any number of templates. You could have, it could be a discovery call template. Each question, and then they get to fill out what the answer was every time you have a discovery call with a client. The cool thing about them is the majority of the space within a template, a fillable, editable fields PDF template, is blank. It's like there's a question and then there's a box for people to type into. So it could be 10 pages long. It can feel really significant when actually there's not actually that much content in it. But there's a perceived value, and it is valuable, but there's a higher perceived value with workbooks and templates because it's adding that level of engagement where people are participating. They're not just downloading something they read, like a book. It's something that's giving them something to participate and play with and work on. That is really engaging. So workbooks and templates, I think, are really, really fabulous. And for my business, they have worked really, really well. Okay, now let's see what do we got left after slides here. Let's talk about the important things about lead magnets. Number one, it's got to have a really cool title. The title is really, really important. You want to make sure that it's short and it's attention grabbing. You want to make sure that you're creating curiosity. You're creating, and here's the key point. After you create the curiosity, you have to be damn sure that you deliver on it and that you give them the value that you've promised. But titles of these things is where a little bit of marketing, kind of chutzpah, creativity comes in, that you want to make it sound enticing. So titles are important. And then you want to make sure that you're giving high quality content. You want to make sure that you're delivering the goods. Factual quality, quality resources, quality writing. Actually, I'm going to get to that later. And here's the thing. You want to make sure, the funny thing is I actually pulled this slide from somewhere else. The race car thing has absolutely nothing to do with the word branded. I was kind of in a rush. Hey, I was in a rush. There you go. Race cars. Done. You want to make sure that you brand it. That's another thing. One of the things I forgot to do very well when I first started doing lead magnets is you want to make sure that you brand it with your agency name, your colors, your logo, your brand look and feel. You want to try to use as much as possible your brand voice as well. And the last page, in whatever the lead magnet is, you want to make sure you have a little message from you and a little bit of contact information. So your website, all your social channels, any calls to action that you want them to take. Because when they do they consume the lead magnet, they may want to engage with you more. Hopefully they will, and they're going to go to your website, or there may be links to other lead magnets, right? You already have their email address because they needed to give it to you to get the lead magnet, to get the PDF, whatever it is, the download. And you're giving them even more value. So in doing that, you are already developing and building and nurturing this level of trust. And people hear me say this all the time. I say it in my lives. I say it in the Brand Design Masters Facebook group. You are nurturing subliminal reciprocity. Subliminal reciprocity is when you give shitloads of value to people, and then over time, they feel indebted to you, and they want to return the favor. They want to help you back. And they can help you back by buying your course, hiring you to do some work for them. It generates magnetism. And then finally, you want to make sure that you really have that you keep the content really tight, really focused, and you may want to get professional writing help. Like I said, I take the transcripts from my videos. I have taken them and rewritten them as articles. It's just, for me, very time consuming to do. And I find it cheaper time-wise to hire someone else to do it, who's also like 10 billion times as good as it than I am. And so hiring professional writing help can be great. You can get great writers, and especially right now, I hate to say it, but it's true. Everyone wants some work. And so think about that. Have you put out some podcasts, solo episodes, videos, any kind of content that you feel like you could transcribe, hand to a writer and have them turn into an article, or have them turn into a mini ebook or something like that? Anyway, so that's that. All right. Is that the end? No. And then, yeah, you want to include the promotional CTAs, like I said. Calls to action at the end. Visit my website. Listen to my podcast. Call me, right? Let's have a Zoom. Here's my Calendly link. Set up a 30-minute discovery, meeting with me. Have those calls to action, because if you want to start setting up that reciprocal dynamic. And that is it for the slideshow. So now I'm going to exit out of that. So I hope that was helpful to you guys. Now, the last kind of point I wanted to talk about is how to decide on your lead magnet. Like, why do you decide on that particular one? You have to know who your customer is. You have to know who it is that you're trying to reach. Are you reaching designers? Are you reaching clients? Are you reaching people in a particular industry? Are you reaching executives? Are you reaching the rank and file? Are you reaching entrepreneurs? Are you reaching business owners? Who is it that you're trying to provide value to? The next thing that you want to ask yourself is, what is the problem that you want to solve for them? And you want to build lead magnet content that solves a problem for them. What is it that they need help with? What are their pain points in their business? And what are the how-tos? Like, what do they search for when they say how to set up a marketing plan, how to set up a Instagram profile, how to market myself, how to take out Facebook ads? What do they search for? And one of the ways you can find this out is look on YouTube. Follow some people who are in that industry, the type of people that you want as customers. And if they've saved videos, or if they, do searches for the types of videos that it looks like they are interested in. And look for how-tos. Another way to do this is to do it on a website called Answer the Public, answerthepublic.com. Joselle might be able to type that out. Where you enter in a question or a topic, and this algorithm creates this kind of word cloud of questions around that topic. And what those questions are the queries that people have typed into search engines asking about that topic. So what it is it's basically giving you the answer of what people are asking about. It's giving you the answer of what people want to know. So if you type in keywords around the industries or the types of people you want to serve, what the keywords are that they use. Say, for instance, you focus on, providing design or strategy services for dentists, right? So you type in a bunch of things that have to do with dental marketing, right? And it will give you a word cloud of all the questions that people are asking about dental marketing. And it gives you the fodder and the information to create the lead magnet, which is exactly what they're looking for. And that's how you create that magnetism. The other thing I would say is, Answer the Public, move to a paid model. Actually, Call, I use them. I used them yesterday. So yes, there's a paid model, but you can still do it for free. Like, I entered it in and got a word cloud question thing yesterday. Oh, Answer the Public. No, wait. I'm thinking about a different one. Answer the Public did go to paid. You're right. But there's another one, and Joselle knows what it is, and I'll put it in the Facebook group. There's the teaser for you. If you're in the Brand Design Masters Facebook group, then I will put that that word cloud thing in there. I might be able. No, I can't. If I pull up Chrome, it's going to mess everything up. So check that out. Go right after this. I'll go in the Facebook group and I'll give you guys that link. But it's a very, very cool little bit of software. Anywho, so and finally, the last thing I would say is, what are the types of lead magnets that attract you? Think about your own motivation. What are the things that grab you? What are the things that make you give up your email address to somebody? Those become a student of this behavior and of this marketing model, because that's going to be very informative to you in terms of how you do it. And once you start doing it, your antenna, your spidey sense, your attention will become very finely tuned and focused on how people are doing things. And you'll be paying much more close attention to how they title things, how long they are, what the topics are around. Just become a student of it, because it'll really help. And so just to tie it all up in a bow, what I said at the very beginning of the live, I wanted to reiterate, which is that it may not be on the top of your radar or your most important goal in your business to build an email list. But here's the thing to remember about everything that I just shared, and that is that the knowledge of how to do this is something that you can sell to businesses. I'm going to say it again. Learning how to do this, even if you don't do it for yourself in depth, you can counsel businesses on doing this to build their own email lists. So one of the things you have to keep in mind in everything that I do videos about, and everything I share on Brand Design Masters Facebook group, on YouTube, on my podcast, is that the stuff that I'm teaching you isn't necessarily just for you to implement in your business, but I'm also sharing with you things and ideas and processes and methodologies that you can internalize, understand, and then add to your offering to your clients. So keep that in your kind of keep that perspective when I'm sharing stuff like this, because you may not feel like, oh, that's, it doesn't have to do with me. Click. I'm going to go on and do something else. Think about it in terms of what additional skill sets and tools and product offerings, services could I offer to my clients? And if I learn about this, can I offer it to my clients? So that's it for the presentation portion of the live. And we're, I think, right at about an hour or something like that. Let me look. 57 minutes and 53 seconds. So this has been totally fun. I'm not going to go away now. Now is the question part of the live. And thankfully, my nose is not itching and my voice seems to be better. So hold on. For those of you just joining, my nose was really itchy at the beginning of the live. Okay. I'm just cruising through some of the questions here. So talk amongst yourselves. I wish I had some some hold music or something. So when I read these questions through, and I'll read them aloud because I'm looking at Joselle's feed that she's given me. So talk amongst yourselves in the chat. Give me just a second. Okay, question. Anna Schill, who's in the Facebook group. So when you enter their email address, how does it get recorded to a useful email list like Google Spreadsheets or what you use to store the addresses? When you set up a pop-up or an email sign-up form on your website, Wix, Weebly, WordPress, Squarespace, whatever that is, when you set up the sign-up box, in the back end, when you set it up, it says what email service do you want to link this to, and it'll give you a list of tons of them. And then some of it's very easy where you'll just click MailChimp and then you give your MailChimp log on or the email list in MailChimp you wanted to add it to, and then boom, every time someone fills out the form, it populates to MailChimp over there. Sometimes you may have to, go to MailChimp or some other service and get a little teeny bit of code or get an identifying code number that you might have to plug into the email list box unit that you're building into your website. It's very simple. It's very simple to do. But you have to kind of get a service, MailChimp, ConvertKit, whatever. Set up your email sign-up form on your website, and then you link the two together. Now, the thing about Squarespace is that I actually, my website's on Squarespace, and I feed all my email lists to MailChimp, but I duplicate it. So actually, I have it set up to feed into a Google spreadsheet too, just as a backup. I don't know why. I did it at the beginning, and now I haven't even checked it. It's probably like, I don't know, how 10,000 names long. We're choking Google spreadsheet. But you can do it. You can actually add it to a Google spreadsheet. But to be honest with you, if you're just beginning, I wouldn't recommend that, because when you start sending out emails, you can't send out emails to 150, 400 people at a time, because Google will flag it, and you're done. Okay, so what kind of lead magnet or content can I offer if I'm a product-based business? If you're a product-based business, what do your products do? You know, God, I wish I'm going to find this article on this pool guy who was like, he became like the pool building king of Texas. And he has this crazy, vibrant, kind of social media and content presence. And he said, 10 things you have to do, checklist, 10 things you have to do to get your pool ready for spring. The 5 types of chemicals you don't want to put in your pool. And he posts all sorts of lead magnets and content for people who have pools who want to know more about their pool, or, the best pool resource websites, or, the list of the 10 best, pool accessories, 10 best pool accessories companies. And it's a link list. Anything that has to do with your product or your service. What are the questions that your customers ask you when they ask you a question? Go on Google, go on Amazon, go on, if you sell widgets and you go on Amazon and widgets and go to a bunch of widgets that are getting sold and go down into the questions and answers and see what kind of questions people are asking about the widgets. And you can get all sorts of ideas about what people want to know about that thing. If it's photography lights, go and look at photography lights on Amazon, then go down on the list, and people will ask 10 billion questions, sometimes really stupid, sometimes really smart questions about those photography lights. But it will give you a huge window into what people want to know about photography lights. And similarly, like I said earlier in the presentation, go on YouTube and search how to photography lights. You don't even have to know the answer. And you will get like a butt ton of videos about what people are asking about photography lights, and that can give you a bunch of ideas too about content. So I hope that those are 2 different ways. Any thoughts on making a blog and ebooks on personal development? I want to write about my experience as a Hispanic young woman in school and in the design industry productivity, from Mariana Patino. Thank you, Mariana. I appreciate the question. Everybody loves a journey. I really encourage everybody not only to share about their business and what they do for clients, credentials, stories, portfolio. I really encourage people to share about their journey and their story of how they do what they do and how they got to where they are. Because there is always people who are behind you in life, behind you in that process, who want to know how you got to where you did and how you did it. And so I think that's a great idea. Share, blog, combine those blogs into an ebook, talk about, find a magnetic title about being a Hispanic young woman and a woman in the design industry. I think it's a great idea. I hope that answers your question. I think it because niche content like that will get niche audiences really excited, because it is for them. That's the cool thing about content. You can develop content that's really niche, because when that person finds it, they have to have it. They are saying, this thing is for me. It was like made and written for me. I'm signing up. I'm giving you my email address. So anyway, that's that. All right. I'm sorry, I don't understand that question. Question. Deborah asks, where would you look for a good writer? Well, Deborah, one of the things that a lot of people have these in the United States anyway, but there's Facebook groups around creative communities locally, right? So I live in a town in New Jersey, outside of New York City, and there's a ton of creative people who live here who get married, have kids, can't afford the city anymore, and they move out just across the river to this amazing section of the woods that I live in. And some guy started a Facebook group, and it grew to like 5,000 members in about a week. It was crazy because there's so many creative people who live here who work in the city. And if I want to find a copywriter, I go on that Facebook group and I say, I need a copywriter. Boom, there's like 15 copywriters and 20 people who know copywriters who are jumping in saying, oh, try this person, this person, this person. There are all sorts of groups like that, and it doesn't have to be local. It can be a national group. It can be the Brand Design Masters Facebook group. If you needed to find a copywriter, go in there and say, I need to find a copywriter, help me turn my transcripts into articles. I can give you one. I can give you one local, actually, and I know you live in my neck of the woods. I know a few. Reach out in the professional organizations and Facebook groups and stuff that you are part of, and ask, and you will get referrals. I much prefer to get referrals from word of mouth than to go out on Fiverr and something like that. Okay. Question. Peter Lewis asks, when you promote other people's content in lead magnets, e.g. links, it shows you are generous, and that is a great thing, and that's very true. It is. It's when you're sharing other people's content, if you're sharing content, make sure that you ask for permission to share the content. If it's just links to websites or services or fonts or resources per se, you don't really have to ask for permission to do that. But if you are actually republishing the content itself, you can do that, but you have to just make sure that you get permission to do it. I'm sorry, this is the greatest question ever. Blue Whale asks, what is the best way to communicate with people if you don't like communicating with people? Oh man, that is precious. Here's the thing, Blue Whale. The really cool thing about the digital world in general is I've shared this before. I'm not going to share it right now, but there's this amazing New York Times cartoon, a New Yorker cartoon that's probably 30 years old now, and it's two dogs. One is sitting at a computer, looking at a computer, and he's talking to the dog behind him. And the dog says to the other dog, he goes, "It's really great because on the internet, no one knows you're a dog." And that is the truth of the internet, right? You don't have to come face to face to communicate with people. You can just write, you can just record, you can publish content, you can use the content as a magnet, build an email list. And I mean, if you don't like writing, if you don't like communicating at all, then this live is not for you, because you really have to kind of warm up to communicating with people, because if you're going to get clients, if you're going to work, if you're going to have a job, if you're going to do any of this stuff, you got to learn how to communicate, at least on a written level. But I'm sorry, I was just totally tickled by that question. I just had to take that question. I'm going to back up because there's a whole bunch of questions from the very, very beginning. And I want to see if there's anyone's. All right. Crazy Arts asks, do you have any mini ebooks? If yes, please share. If you go on my website, philipvandusen.com, you can get my mini ebook. I actually only have one. I have a lot of templates, but my mini ebook is called the 9. Actually, if you're a member of the Brand Design Masters Facebook group, I actually posted it in the file section of that group, where you can actually just download it right from there. but it's called the 9 design elements every brand absolutely positively needs. And it talks through, in a general level, kind of a bunch of brand ecosystem elements that some companies and people don't think of when they're thinking of developing their brand assets. So you can go there and you can sign up to my email list and you can get that. Or you can join the Facebook group and get it that way. Jan says, missed part of the live, I guess, because of chores. Can we watch it later on? Yes. As you know, well, Jan, you don't know, but you should know. You will know that all of my lives are published within minutes, usually, of it ending. YouTube has to churn through it with its bots and make sure that you're not, swearing a lot or whatever. And it will check it and then, playing copyrighted music. And then it will post it. So sometimes it takes a little while, but it will be posted generally within a day. So if you need to go back and check it out, please do, and share it. Like I said, if you don't ask, you don't get. So if you enjoyed this live and what I was talking about today, please share it with someone that you know. Go on the video, click the share button, take the link, send it out to some folks. I really, really appreciate it. Because the more we can grow as a community, the more people that will be there to help and educate each other. And I am already totally blown away by the level of engagement that is going on in this Facebook group and all the incredible people who are in the chat right now, who are part of it, who know about it because I announced it there, but also know about it because I pitched it last week and they all went and joined. But it's an incredible group and it's growing really fast, and there's some really crazy, smart, talented people in there. From Jan Wolderbeek, who's in the chat, to Carl Gray, who's in the chat, from Pixels Inc., Jarvis, connected with Jarvis recently, Jarmello in the chat. Lots of really, really incredibly talented people who can give you great advice and build your network. So totally do that. Someone said you need ginger juice before the next live. Yeah, or tea with honey or whatever. Yeah, you're right. But I didn't, so I'm sorry. Garashi. So Hashem, he's a part of the Facebook group, and he posted a Instagram live that he did, and he was speaking not my language. I'll just put it that way. Arabic? I'm sorry. He was doing an Instagram live, and he mentioned my live right in the middle of this whole Arabic conversation he was having. And it was just really interesting to hear. But his question is, how do you overcome the lack of confidence of posting content when you have doubts about whether it's worth posting it or not? Great question. Garashi, that is the great question. The hump of posting your first bit of content is the highest hurdle you will ever surmount. But after you do that, it gets easier and easier and easier. Why? Because I guarantee you, when you post something at the beginning, some sort of content, and the first 5 or 10 people reach out to you and say, wow, thank you so much. That was so valuable to me. I really liked this or that or whatever. Or they sign up to your email list. That is so life and soul affirming that it will feed and fuel your creative energy more than you possibly ever know. And you will only get better and better at developing the content itself. And you will learn more and more and more about what people want, what resonates with them, what doesn't. I've done over 200 YouTube videos. Some of them have fallen very flat. Some of them have gotten 1.2 million views, right? So I'm learning what people really love on YouTube anyway, and I try to capitalize on that. I try to give people what they want. By the same token, there's stuff I'm passionate about that I think people should know that I do videos on anyway, whether people watch it or not, because I think it's important. And so just get over that first hurdle. You have something of value to share. And like the young lady who shared about her experience being a Hispanic woman in the design industry, Garashi, when you are when you're thinking about sharing content and developing content, just think about who you were 6 months ago or a year ago and what you wanted or needed to know then. Because there are thousands of people in the world who are that person, who want to know how you got or learned what you did in order to get to where you are today, who are behind where you are, and they want to know that stuff. And you have valuable stuff in your head and in your hard drive that you can share with people to get them to that next level. And there will be a level of appreciation in there that you have no idea about until you start sharing. So be gutsy. Take the leap of faith, and be honest and transparent and giving, and it will come back to you. I'm a firm believer, as everyone knows, in kind of, giving karma. If you give with no kind of expectation of return, that positive karma and success will come back to you. I guarantee it. At least that's my personal belief. Okay, I'm going to move on to other questions. Marina, I answered one of your questions already. I'll answer this one very quickly. I want to connect with Spanish speakers, but more specifically Spanglish people. How do I do this without feeling like I have to stick to one language? Can I post content in both languages? Yes, you absolutely can. I mean, go on YouTube. There's tons of people who speak Spanglish on YouTube. Do a podcast, do YouTube, and be yourself. And if that's what you want to do, those are the people those are the people you're going to attract. So by all means, do it. I mean, there's probably tons of people out there going, geez, I just, I always wanted to do that. Now she's doing it. Geez, I wish I'd thought of that. I wish I'd had the guts to start doing it. Do it, Mariana. Question, Parinya. I'm a local designer, work for a local customer. Please give me the good reason to go online. The great reason to go online is that you are local, you're working local, and as soon as you go online, you are global. End of story. I'm a global agency. I work with people in the EU. I work with people in Australia. I work with people in Canada. I work with people in Istanbul. I wonder if my new client is here listening. He might be. Who found me on Instagram Live. I told that story last week. But when you start developing content and start exposing and becoming visible, you become global. And that is the reason to go online. It's a reason to go online in social, but then you have to have some place to send people. So when you're on social, you have to have a website or something to send people to, in a digital presence of yourself. So that's the reason. You will no longer be local. Bucky Barnes says, should I be on Instagram as a graphic designer, or should I be on Instagram just me personally? That's a really good question, Bucky. And to tell you the truth, I try to be transparent about my journey too. I try to share everything that I'm going through and doing and how I got there. Instagram to me, if you go to my Instagram feed, it's a hodgepodge. And I was just talking to another designer about this recently. I've got some creative stuff that's inspiring, graphics that I see, murals that I take pictures of, flowers on my dog walks, stuff that I just think's beautiful, and I'll post it. And then I also kind of like automatically post things from my newsletter or for my YouTube lives. They go there. So it's kind of like, it's not planful. And there are some people who are very planful about their Instagram feed, and they design it, and they're very clear about the aesthetic and what they post and all that sort of stuff. I'm not one of those people right now anyway, because I don't use really Instagram as a marketing vehicle. Call, good to see you. Pixels Inc. has taken off. He's got to go. I totally understand that. Thank you for coming. It's good to see you, man. So if you want to use it for your business, Instagram is an incredible platform for graphic designers because it, like Pinterest, is a visual platform, and it is growing exponentially as a marketing platform. A lot of people are making a lot of money and getting a lot of clients from Instagram. I just got a client from Instagram last week just because I went live and was interviewing another graphic designer. And so, he happened to follow my Instagram because he follows me on YouTube. So should you be on it? Yes. There are incredible trainers on YouTube to tell you how to utilize Instagram to the best capability that you can. And so I'm gonna write myself a note really quickly. If you join the brand design, oops, where's my pen? Hold on. If you join the Facebook group, I'm going to post in there a link to a woman who is one of the best Instagram trainers, who's got tons of really free, amazing content on YouTube about leveraging Instagram for business. I saw her speak. Her name's escaping me right now. I saw her speak in London and at Social Media Marketing World. And if you speak at Social Media Marketing World, you know your shit. So join the Facebook group, and I will post that, as well as that link to the word cloud. Sorry, I got to write this down because I forget it. All right, cool. Okay, what do we got? Any more questions? Ben, can you give an example of a good title? Through the presentation I did, but ping me on the Facebook group and I can repost them. I'll just copy and paste and repost them. I don't want to kind of circle back. Okay. Question. Viraya says, most of the time my emails to clients end up in spam. How do I resolve best email marketing software? That is a technical question that I don't know that I am the best person to answer, because I'm struggling with the same thing. There are sometimes it's your provider, like certain providers get flagged as spam more than others. And sometimes it's how you title it, interestingly enough. I'm going to have to refer you elsewhere for that one. I wish I could answer that. If anyone in the chat knows the answer to that or has a good resource that they could give to Viraya, plug it in there. Just type parentheses if it's a link, because the chat won't accept links. Anna Schill, her question is global. How can you trust new clients at a distance and comfortably start working with them? Another subject for YouTube. Yes, that's true. That's a great idea. You meet them, number one. So the best thing to do is have a quick discovery call, 15 minutes, half hour, on Zoom, Google Hangouts, whatever. Meet them face to face and have a conversation. You will know very quickly whether they're sketchy or not. And if there's anything, and then, you also get them to provide you with all of their links, digital assets, profiles, and you check them out. You see if they're legit or not before you ever do work for anybody. One of the things that I'm going to be spending a lot of time on in the Facebook group is talking about how you qualify people, how you can start off a relationship so you don't get burned. So you don't do work that you're not going to get paid for, and that you don't invest a ton of time until you qualify them in terms of someone that can pay for what you want to do. So definitely you want to meet with them, check out their profiles, see if they're legit, and then go from there. And if there's anyone or any kind of client prospect that specifically you have a question about, let me know. Ping me in the Facebook group. I'll try to answer it to the best of my ability. All right, I'm scrolling back. Scrolling back a little bit more. Okay. All right. Okay, so any more questions? I'm scrolling back. I've answered a lot of these. Last call. What kind of Jennifer Smith asks question, what kind of return, i.e. paying clients, do you get from your various email campaigns? Direct mail used to return about 2% sales. Is this true here too? Jennifer, I would say that that statistic you can judge on a whole bunch of different levels, meaning you say, if I send out one email, am I going to get 2% sales from that email? I doubt it. I really doubt it, because email is so much more throwaway than print and actual physical direct mail. The other thing is that you generally send out email sequences when you're selling something. And then also the response rate is judged on a lot of different things, from website visits to, people adding things to carts. The people abandoning carts is generally 68% of people who put things in carts almost anywhere on the internet, on any website, abandon it before they actually make the sale. So in terms of specific statistics around an email to sales, I think that it's in digital anyway, that the result is probably much lower, but it depends on the engagement of your audience. If you have a super, super engaged audience that trusts you and has experience with you, there are people who experience much higher levels of sales from that from a series of emails. David, question, he already posted it, but as a student, actually, I have to find a stage to conclude my classes. Any idea or tip to start a good strategy to be efficient on my search? I have to find a stage to conclude my courses. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. Can you clarify that question? I wish I could discern really what you're asking, but I can't figure that out. Sorry about that. Question. Karen Number asks, how do you feel about SMS via email marketing? I hate SMS marketing. I don't know about you, but texting is sacred to me. And anyone who texts me anything, first, definitely sight unseen, but also takes my phone number and follows up in some sort of SMS sequence, I find abhorrent. So that's me. Some people utilize Facebook Messenger bots and all sorts of stuff like that. I don't. I'm not a bot person, because I can smell a bot a mile away, and bots to me are inhuman. And even like chat bots on websites, they're obnoxious, and they show me that the company that I'm dealing with doesn't care about me really as a person. And in our business as creative professionals, or in any business as an entrepreneur, you got to care about people. You have to show them that you care about them, honestly and truly. And if you're setting up, I don't know, I don't like SMS. I reserve that for personal communication. So, Karen, that's my point of view. Any tips for animated video marketing firms? Craig, what I would do is, there are some animated video marketing folks in the Facebook Brand Design Masters Facebook group. You should go in there and ask that question. So definitely join that. And I'm absolutely positive that you're going to get a lot of recommendations. One of my fellow mastermind members, Dason Ortiz, has a motion template company called Motion Masters. And maybe it's Motion Design Masters. Anyway, Dason's amazing. He's in the group. I'm sure that he has recommendations for you. So definitely check that out. David, no apologies necessary. But my idea is to apply to get a company that can teach me. Apply to get a company that can teach you courses. But as a student, I actually have to find my courses. If you're saying that you're looking for a way to get educated, a way to take classes, then there are, tons and tons of online education platforms. If you're looking for design education, I did a video on that actually. It was like the 8 or 10 best online training programs for graphic design. You're in web development, okay? Then, yeah, there are tons of academies for web development online, and most of them are on the major platforms that I shared in that video. So, check that out. I can't link to it right now because I have to go find it. Good, Tracy. Thanks for jumping in there and asking some questions and clarifying that. I really appreciate your help. Okay, we are about at an hour and a half, which is about my stopping point, because I've got another appointment at noon, and this has been amazing as usual. I love it. Thank you all for, number one, putting up with my little weird slideshow technical snafus, my itchy nose, my coughing, all the wonderful stuff that goes in when you go live. But that's the thing, right? I'm trying to share with you the authentic Philip Van Dusen and what goes into actually doing this. I want to teach you everything that I know. When I started my YouTube channel, I said, I'm going to try to do a video on everything I've learned in my 25-year career on the agency and corporate side so I can help and share everything I know with people who are coming up and tell them all the things that I didn't know, that I had to learn on my own, very painfully. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm doing it in the Brand Design Masters Facebook group. I'm going to be doing it really in depth and really in person in the Brand Design Masters Guild, which are a couple paid masterminds that I'm going to be launching within about 4 weeks. So if that's something that you might be interested in, ping me in the Brand Design Masters group, because I'm going to be having a very tight group of professional people. I'm going to have a few of these groups, so they may be at different levels of accomplishment, maybe some beginners, maybe some more accomplished people, where you can have really close, direct contact with me. And I'm going to be, kind of leading you through some education through that mastermind in a series of mini courses to an extent, but it's also going to be a networking and interactive mastermind group. So if you're interested in that, join the Facebook group, and I'm going to start kind of sharing, kind of little hints around what that's going to be. This has been incredible. Top line, email is your friend. It's still as viable. It's still important. Start building an email list. It's land that you control. It's an audience that wants to hear from you. And it is worth the effort. I'll put it that way. It's totally worth the effort. And if you want to learn more about it, join the Brand Design Masters Facebook group. There's a lot of people in there who are looking to do that, and I'm going to be sharing everything that I know. My email list at this point is about 8,000. It was up to about 16,000 at one point, but I pared it back significantly because I had this huge influx of people after I had my trend video, a couple of my trend videos go viral, and everybody freaking signed up for my email list, and then they never opened any of my emails. So I said, get rid of you. So I nixed them. So I cut my email list in half. Like 3 or 4 months ago. But it's great. I have a ton of people that engage with me every week and enjoy my content and share my content. And that's where I know a lot of you from. That's why a lot of you know about the Brand Design Masters Facebook group. That's why a lot of you know about this live, because that's my communication hub. Develop an email list. And if you're not even, like I said, if you're not even going to get into it deep by yourself, do it to learn as a service to teach and sell to clients, because you want to gather as many offerings as you can. even just from a consultative standpoint, even if you're not implementing it for them. So that's it. So great to see all of you guys. It's been awesome as usual. Thank you to Joselle Tech, the lovely and talented Joselle Tech, my marketing assistant. She's incredible. Thank you again for moderating the group. And just really quickly, Joselle started a YouTube channel. You can go on there. It's bit.ly joselletech.yt. She's just started. She's just got a few videos up there, and she's got her own agency in the Philippines called The Rolling Media. She's also a moderator of the Facebook Brand Design Masters Facebook group, so you'll be seeing a lot of her, but she's awesome. I want to thank her every chance I get. So check out Joselle's YouTube channel. And with that, thanks again for watching. I will see all of you in the Brand Design Masters Facebook group, and thank you so much for coming to the live. I hope you guys have a great weekend. You stay safe. Stay safe, physically distant, but not socially distant from each other. And Tracy, Eunice, Juan, Jan, David, Crazy Arts, David, all you guys, Julius, Mariana, Jarvis, Crazy Arts, Anna, Ben, Paul, Deborah, Ashul. You guys are incredible. So thanks again. I'm going to be going live again next Friday, but I'm going to go live at a later time. I'm going to go on at 2 p.m. EST. I'm not sure exactly what the topic of that live is going to be yet. If anyone has any suggestions, ping me in the Facebook group. But I'm going to be going live. I have to adjust my times a little bit because when I go live earlier, it's good for the UK, EU people and the East Coast people in the United States. And then when I go live later, it's better for the West Coast people and the Hawaii people. So I try to separate it so the different hemispheres or parts of the globe can join and watch when it's not 6 o'clock in the morning. So great to see you all. It's totally fun. Joel, thanks for all your questions. I want to learn more about growing design. I really like what I'm seeing there and how you're architecting that group. Tammy, Elaine, again, it's been fabulous. I hope you guys have a great weekend. And please come to the live next week. It'll be fun. And we'll see you again soon. Okay? Bye now.